how to play beautiful, inspirational piano just like this? Well, if you think that you need to learn lots of chords and scales to get this sound, I have some good news for you. You can get this exact sound learning only 2 chords in your left hand and a very simple 3-note formula in your right hand. And in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do this. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, step number 1 to getting this piano sound is to start with a setup. Okay, and this is usually something that you'll play before you start improvising. Okay, and so it's very important to have a nice setup so the listener knows what chords you're using in your arrangement. So here's how the setup goes. It's actually very simple to play. I've got F and C on the bottom, I've got G, C, and G on the top. And this chord is called an F add 2 chord. Okay, that's kind of the basic chord there, and I'm kind of spreading the notes out here. And this is a very cool way of playing an F major chord. It's a more interesting way of playing an F major chord by lowering that 3rd down to G, okay? The second chord that you need to know is a beautiful C major chord. We have E, C on the bottom, G, C, and G on the top. Okay? And basically this chord is like an inverted C major chord. Imagine we take our C major and we put the E on the bottom. That's basically what we're doing, except we're spreading the notes out. Okay? And so these are the 2 chords that you really need to know to create this beautiful sound. Okay, I'm basically playing an F add 2 or F sus 2 to a C major chord in 1st inversion. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this. Now, these are the 2 chords, but you want to make the chords sound a little bit more interesting, so we want to do a little groove on it. Okay, basically my right hand, I'm starting on the middle note. I'm going bottom, top, bottom, middle, bottom, top, bottom, middle, bottom. That's kind of your basic right hand pattern. Da, 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 da. You kind of want to get that groove in your right hand. In the left hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're kind of playing in the gaps here. We're only using 2 notes here, but we're playing in between the notes of the right hand. Here's how it comes together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's the basic groove, and then we apply the same groove on this chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Does that make sense? That's your basic groove, and this is a beautiful contemporary groove that you want to practice and you want to speed up. Once you have it to a decent speed, let's go ahead and play this with the included backing tracks. This lesson comes with 3 different backing tracks at different tempos, so we'll do it at the slower tempo. Let's give it a try. 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. These backing tracks are downloadable at pianowithjonny.com, as well as the lesson sheet music you're seeing up here on the top left of the screen is downloadable and printable, and you can check out our smart sheet music. It allows you to change the key of this entire lesson with the click of 1 button, so I'll put a link to all of that below. So that's the basic groove. Once you have this basic groove, then you want to start actually improvising on this chord progression. Okay, so this is step number 2. Step number 2 is to learn an accompaniment. And in your anytime you're improvising the right hand, okay, you want to have a very simple accompaniment that you can use in your left hand over these chords. Okay, so here's our first position. Go ahead and play this with me. We have F, G, and C. We're right in the middle of our keyboard. Second position, we're going to move that F down to E with our ring finger, and we're on our first inversion C chord. Okay, these are very, very simple chords, but whenever you're improvising in the right hand, you generally want to keep the left hand a little bit more simple. Okay, so on the F add 2, I'm basically arpeggiating this chord. I'm starting on the bottom, bottom, middle, top, middle, top, middle, top, middle, and then I do it again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I go down to C, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're only hitting the bottom note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then we switch to the bottom note, basically every 2 measures, or you could count it every 16 notes. Does that make sense? So this is something that you can practice as well with these backing tracks. Let's do it at a little bit faster tempo. This is going to be 55 BPM. Here it is. Here we go. Here's the C over E. Isn't that gorgeous? And then we come back to F. Ah, so beautiful. You really don't need a whole lot in your left hand to make it sound interesting. Now before we move on and talk about how to improvise over these chords, if you're enjoying this lesson, I want to recommend a really good course to help you learn progressions like this. It's called the Love Progression course and the Chord Wonder course. I'll put a link to both of those courses below. But I do want to move on and I want to talk about how to actually improvise over these chords. All right, so if you're a little bit more on the beginner side at the piano, or perhaps you're a little bit newer to improvisation, this is where I recommend that you start. And this is a simple 3-note formula that you can use to improvise over these chords. Okay, I'm basically only using 3 notes to create all of these beautiful lines, and here are the 3 notes that you should use, okay? Or that I recommend that you use. B in the right hand, C, and G. Okay, that's it. With only these 3 notes, you can create some really beautiful lines over these chords. Okay, so here's what I recommend that you do. I'd start in this one position here and play some nice lines. Okay, and basically I'm starting kind of with some simple quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice for each beat in the right hand, I have 2 beats in my left hand, and then I switch my chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay. You can also start to come up to different inversions of these chords. So I could come up here and grab this position. Isn't that gorgeous? You can hop down to the lower position and the upper position. Notice how I'm starting to add some other notes here, like 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So now I'm matching the note durations in my left hand, and this is kind of the next level if you want your improvisation to be a little bit more interesting. Now you can jump around to some different octaves. You can come way up high on the piano. So just because there's 3 notes does not mean you need to sit in the same spot on the piano. Okay, you want to go ahead and play this with the backing track. This is going to be a ton of fun. Let's play this with the backing track. This is 55 beats per minute. And here we go. Start very simple. You want to leave some gaps in between your lines. Notice all the rhythms that I'm using with these three notes. So clearly there's a lot of cool things you can do. Now if you want to take it to the next level, you can add one note to this three-note position, and that's going to be your D, okay? So basically all four of these notes will work over both of these chords. So here's some examples of lines. I added an E in there. We'll talk about that later. Okay, that's called a little roll, where I come down all of the notes of the chord. Okay. By the way, if you want to learn more improvisation techniques just like this, you can in our Contemporary Progressions and Improv course over at pianowithjonny.com. So I'll put a link to that below. Okay? So make sure we're creating some nice lines in this position. So many cool things you can do. And then something that's really nice is to come up to what I call the upper position. This has D, G, B, and C on the top. And then you can play in this position. So beautiful. You can come to that lower position, to the upper position. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, let's go ahead and play this with one of these included backing tracks. This is 55 beats per minute. Here we go. And here we go. Isn't that lovely? You can do little slides on your notes, lots of fun things. All right, if you're a little bit more on the intermediate side, you want to take it up to an even higher level, you can add one more note to this position, and you may have heard me play it earlier. That's going to be your E, and the E sounds beautiful on all of these chords. Isn't that lovely? Gorgeous. We can do little sixth intervals on the top, okay? So as you practice this, this is going to be position 1. All of these notes I'd kind of play in this one position. Okay? And then if you want to go to more of an upper position sound, you can do like this, okay? All right, and then of course you can mix these positions. Let's go ahead and play this one with the backing track. Here it is. And here, start in a lower position. Notice how I came up to that higher position? Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this lesson, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 900 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels, plus we offer live learning events for our members. So go check out Piano with Jonny, and I'll see you in the next one.